Today we're going to talk about the Wharfedale 12.4s, which could be the biggest deal in hi-fi when it comes to floor-standing speakers, had it not been for the Emotiva T1 Plus or the Klipsch RP6000F. The good news is they all sound different, so each one may be the right one for you. So sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and let's talk about the best floor-standing speaker deals available right now. We're going to mostly talk about the Wharfedale Diamond 12.4s because those are the ones that I have in my living room right now. And I've been listening to those for 2 weeks or so, mostly running home theater duties, the right and the left channels. But yesterday I did spend about an hour and a half listening to them in earnest on two different amps. The Emotiva XPA Gen 3, which is just a power amplifier. I have the RMC1L going into the XPA Gen 3, which puts out a ton of power. I was feeding that with the Shelly Labs J2, the AKM 4499 version with a Sparkos op amp upgrade, and a Wheem Pro was going into that so I could control the music. That was all going into the RMC1L into an analog input running in reference stereo. Okay, very expensive home theater processor running in 2-channel, running reference stereo, no EQ. I also hook them up to the new Wheem. It's a streaming amplifier with HDMI eARC. So what I did was I took the two Wheems and I joined them across the streams. Not really, more like parallel streams. Anyway, I joined them so they were playing the same thing at the same time, and I can actually go back and forth and hear the differences between the Wheem amp and the Emotiva XPA and all that rig. This is not really a review or a video about the differences between those amplifiers. This is to really talk about the Wharfedale Diamond 12.4 and the Emotiva T1 Plus and a Klipsch RP6000F. The point I'm trying to make is that the Wharfedale Diamond 12.4s scale. Better electronics gives you better sound, but they already sound really good anyway. All three of these speakers are actually on sale or being discontinued right now. The Diamond 12.4s come in at $750 a pair. Their retail price is $1,300 a pair. The RP6000F I think are coming in right now for $800 a pair, and the discount is fairly similar to what the Wharfedale discount is. And the T1 Plus come in at a mind-boggling $500 a pair. They were regularly, I think, $800 or $900 retail. So all three of these speakers are on a huge discount, and I don't know how long that discount will last. The T1 Pluses are going away. The RP6000Fs are going away eventually because that's been a discontinued speaker. The Wharfedales, Diamond 12.4, I don't know how long they're going to be around, but they could be going away too. How do the Wharfedales sound? Well, they're punchy on the bottom. They have a nice, warmer mid-range, and they have highs. So this is not a rolled-off speaker. When I'm thinking about the Wharfedale Linton, that's a much more rolled-off speaker than the Wharfedale Diamond 12.4. The Wharfedale Diamond 12.2 seemed like it was mostly mid-range and top-end with a little bit of bass. The Diamond 12.4s are a smack you in the face with somebody else's luggage while you're sitting in your seat on the plane and somebody else comes in after you and they're trying to put their stuff into the overhead and they move around real quick and their backpack or their messenger bag that's on their shoulder smacks you in the face. That's what the Wharfedale Diamond 12.4 bass does. Punches you. Now, my room does a little bit of room gain, and I couldn't get these like way out from the wall, but I love the bass on these things. Even with really expensive electronics, these are not going to be detail monsters. It doesn't feel like they're rolled off though. If you want a detail monster, you should go with the Emotiva T1 Plus. With that speaker, you're really hearing some clarity in the top end with that AMT tweeter. The mid-range on the Wharfedale leans 12.4, leans a little bit warm, but not overtly so that you feel like there's no detail in the mid-range. Hurt by Johnny Cash was a little bit warmer, a little bit more baritone on the bottom, but you still heard detail in his voice. What you didn't hear is the micro vibrato breath sounds that you'll hear on some other speakers, even the Klipsch RP6000F. However, the reason why you're hearing the breath sounds is not because of necessarily the clarity. It's because of that bumped upper mid-range around that 1800 to 2500 hertz area, and then the scooped out mid-range before. So it feels like Johnny Cash's voice. It sounds like Johnny Cash's voice is a little bit more detailed. But really what you're doing is you're not hearing as much mid-range, and then the mid-range that you do hear is a little bit popped up on top. Those Klipsch are awesome, they're entertaining, they're a fun speaker, but at louder volumes they can cause some listening fatigue over time. The Wharfedale Diamond 12.4s are not going to cause any type of listening fatigue, and you can crank them up. Top end not rolled off here, but the thing that you're going to be lacking is top end extension. Not going to hear as much room in live performances. Still good though. But here's the thing. When you have higher end electronics, when I had the Sparkos op amps in there, it did feel larger, it did feel bigger. So there are ways to compensate for a speaker that may not have the best air and extension by simply putting really good electronics on it. And the J2 with the Sparkos op amp upgrade, the $44.99 version, even fully kitted out, if you're only running single-ended out, I think that comes in around $550 with the one single Sparkos op amp upgrade. So let's do a value proposition. This speaker is almost 50% off. If you get the Wharfedale Diamond 12.4 and you get the J2 from Gishelli Labs, it's basically like getting a free DAC right now because the Wharfedale's price is so low. All right, Emotiva's price, $499. The retail price was $900. Again, I don't know how long these will last. This series of Emotiva is slowly just going away. They had replenished, they had restocked on some things, but I don't know how much longer they're going to restock. With this, you have a frequency response of 37 hertz all the way up to 28,000 hertz, nominal impedance of 4 ohms, so you're going to need some current on this thing. The efficiency is 88 dB, which is the same efficiency on the Wharfedale Diamond 12.4, so you need a bit of power for both the Emotivas and the Wharfedale. It has a 4 1/4 inch mid-range driver, two 6 inch woven fiber cones, and then it has about a 1 inch folded ribbon tweeter, about 38 inches high. And that is quite a bit shorter than the Wharfedale. The Wharfedales come in at 45 and almost a half inches high. They're 49.3 pounds apiece, the Wharfedales are. Let's see how much the Emotivas weigh. Emotivas come in at 40 pounds. So both of these speakers are pretty heavy duty. Wharfedales are 8 ohm. These may be a little bit easier to drive than the Emotivas. With the Wharfedales, you have a 6.5 inch mid-range driver, a 6.5 inch bass driver, paper PP cone, I think that's paper pulp cone, and then a 1 inch textile dome driver. You can check out the links on here. I think if we're talking about soundstage imaging, vertical drop off is going to be way superior on the Wharfedale. I can move around the room quite a bit more and not hear a huge difference in the sonics, where with the Emotiva T1 Plus, as soon as you get your ear above that tweeter level, it's going to drop off pretty significantly. So the Emotivas really are a sweet spot speaker. They do have a fairly wide sweet spot laterally. Not vertically, though. Klipsch are pretty directional, too. With the horn! The Wharfedale's enclosure, too, is really beautiful. It doesn't have real wood veneer, but it does have a very reflective, smooth front baffle. I think out of the three, the Wharfedale Diamond 12.4 is the best built from a, aesthetic standpoint. The Klipsch are also built fairly well, but are extremely deep. So if you're buying the Klipsch or considering the Klipsch, make sure you have enough room next to your wall because they're about 17 inches deep. They have two 6.5 inch cerametallic cone woofers. Frequency response on the Klipsch 34 up to 25,000 hertz, 97 dB. So these by far are the most sensitive speakers of the bunch. 1 inch linear travel suspension titanium diaphragm tweeter, about 40 inches high, over 17 inches deep. So the tallest of the bunch is the Wharfedale. The Wharfedale towers over the Klipsch and the Emotiva by about 5 inches or more. So which ones would I buy? The good news is we, the customer, are benefiting by buying any of these speakers. Which one is right for you depends on, well, you. I think the best all-arounder is the Wharfedale Diamond 12.4. It's not going to kill you with clarity, so you're going to be able to hear almost anything. Any recording, even if it's poorly recorded, is going to sound pretty good. But it also does scale with electronics, so you do get some of that clarity back if you feed it with really high-end stuff. You could kind of say that about everything, but the Wharfedale has a sonic signature to where it's not really leaning right, it's not leaning left, it's not leaning in your face too much. It's kind of in the middle, so depending upon if you have thin electronics, super clean electronics, super warm electronics, it's not going to move the needle much, really one way or the other. If you want a warmer sonic signature, you put something like a Marantz or a Denon PMA 600NE on the Wharfedale. You want to get it a little bit more detailed, put something like the Yamaha AS301, 501, 701. You want it super punchy, put something like the XPA Gen 3 on it, and it also has clarity. Then you feed it with a really clean source like the Shelly Labs J2. You want more soundstage? Put some op amps in there from Sparkos. I think the Wharfedale Diamond 12.4 is going to appeal to the broadest audience out of these 3 different speakers I'm talking about. The Klipsch RP6000F coming in at $800 a pair if you get them on Crutchfield right now. This is a funner speaker. People call this a rock and roll speaker. What you're missing is a little bit of mid-range or a lot of mid-range right before you get to the upper mid-range. So a bit of a V curve, which sounds good. And this is a type of speaker, a type of sonic response that I would really dig. Maybe not as big of a scoop in the mid-range, but it's that 2K bump that gets me personally with some fatigue. Very engaging. And if you're into that sonic signature, then you're going to love these speakers, and now is the time to buy them. Good punch on the bottom end. Has a tendency to be, when you're comparing it directly to the T1 Plus or the Diamond 12.4, a little bit honky. So vocals aren't going to sound nearly as natural on the Klipsch RP6000F as they do on the Diamond 12.4. The Emotiva. Here we have a speaker that if you sit in the same spot, if you're not moving around a lot, this is a speaker that is going to be able to reveal things in the music that you've never heard before. With that caveat, though, not all recordings are going to sound brilliant on the Emotiva T1 Plus. These are also very punchy and very controlled in the mid-range. You can also tow these directly out, so just have them straight out, and you're still going to get very good imaging. Wharfedale's image fairly easily, fairly well, not super wide. The Klipsch are probably the most directional speaker out of these. So the Wharfedale's most well behaved, but really punchy on the bottom, slightly warm mid-range. Good highs, not super extended. Emotiva's super extended, super detailed. The vertical fall off is pretty severe once you get your ear above it. The Klipsch, fun, but scooped out mid-range, have a tendency to be a little bit fatiguing. Super deep, so make sure you have enough room. All of these are crazy good in their own way. But if it were my money and I could only buy one speaker, it would actually be the Wharfedale Diamond 12.4. I am a huge Emotiva fanboy. I love the Sonics. But in the long run, I think the Wharfedale Diamond 12.4 is the best all-around speaker out of this trio. And at $750, it is just a crazy deal right now. So if you're in the market, I would not wait, because I don't know how long these are going to be at $750, and I don't know how long these are going to be in production. The Klipsch and the Emotivas are going away, and frankly, I'm surprised they still have T1 Plus in stock. So if you're interested in those, now is the time to do it as well. Emotiva is also running a deal, so if you spend over $1,000, you get a certain percentage off. If you're a military veteran or first responder, I think they also get an additional discount off, so you can get the Emotivas for an even better price depending upon how much you spend and, well, depending upon if you're a veteran or not. It's a great time to be in audio because these are awesome speakers for their price. So if you want to support the channel, you can sign up for Patreon. Patreon.com/cheapaudioman. Every Sunday night we have Patreon-only Zooms, Patreon-only Discord, Patreon-only Facebook group. You can also sign up for Amazon Music, Tidal, or Roon. Links in the description. Click sign up. Even if you quit, I still get a couple of dollars. You can also use the links in the description. Those will be affiliate links, which means if you click anybody, I get a commission. Doesn't cost you anymore though, so it's a great way to support the channel. You can also buy me a cup of coffee down at the bottom of the video. There's a thanks button. Click, throw a couple bucks my way, but don't feel compelled to buy me anything. You can also buy a mug. Finally, you can just like this video and subscribe. So don't binge watch anything on Netflix or Hulu. Binge listen maybe through one of your new discounted, floor standing, awesome speakers from Klipsch, Emotiva, or Wharfedale, and fill your soul with happiness. With that, I'm Randy. I'm the Cheap Audio Man.